I'm not sure, but I jotted down on my computer this idea for a video about my strengths and weaknesses as a GM. And I wasn't sure who had posted that, if this is a video response, or if it's just something that I came up with one day and wrote down. I'm not really quite sure, but I'm going to go through and detail what I think are some of my strengths and weaknesses as a GM. I think I have a flair for weird, disturbing, and horrific NPCs, and I think I'm pretty good at portraying them. I have freaked out a few people in face-to-face games with my body language and facial expressions while role-playing these sorts of individuals. In some circles, they still talk about my portrayal of a pissed-off old woman, and I think I've talked a little bit about that in previous videos. I believe I'm weak on political games, but I have been practicing as a player and in some one-shots as a GM. And speaking of those one-shots, I think I'm pretty good at running those at conventions. I tend to run games for the entire convention in almost every time slot, and I have this sort of reputation of being a bit mad. People ask me things like, dude, how do you even do that? I guess Rob Davis, talking about me being an Iron Man. I guess in that respect, I think I am. At my local gaming convention, I think most people run 2 or 3 games for the entire convention, and I think last time I ran 7 or 8. So I guess I think that's something that I'm pretty good at. Also in one shots, I seem to be very good at pacing, where I think other people sometimes struggle with that, trying to fit in a game in like a 4-hour time slot. I am a generalist and not a specialist, and I think this is true of settings and systems. Some people have more experience than I do with a lot of different systems like Runeslinger, however. So he's even more of a generalist than I am, I think. I sometimes wish that I was one of those people that knew a setting inside and out and ran it most, if not all of the time. But I don't think I'm that person. I have this sort of wanderlust when it comes to settings and systems, where I just want to have more variety, I think. I have this almost obsessive compulsive need to know a setting in and out as best as possible before running a campaign or even a one-shot of it, and I think at times this has kept me from running games that I believe would have been fun and entertaining, but I sort of hold myself back. I want to have a higher quality game, and yeah. I think I'm pretty good about keeping the game moving along and also sharing the spotlight with players. I myself was a pretty quiet player when I started out, a bit shy and so forth. And I think when I'm in a game with various people, I try to make sure that everyone gets a turn. That if I see someone not talking, I'll try to sort of motivate them to do so. Let's see what else here. I think I'm good at making sound effects with my voice and my mouth. I often just throw in strange little things, and I think this goes all the way back to when I used to play with G.I. Joes and He-Man and all kinds of different toys as a kid. Me and my brother both used a lot of sound effects and just things that we came up with on the fly. I tend to get discouraged easily when I think that players aren't enjoying themselves or don't communicate much with me, and often I think this is just my own insecurities and fears, and I let them get the best of me sometimes. I think that also sort of goes along with my GM burnout. I think those fears and insecurities sort of whittle away my foundation and make me sort of, I don't know, just kind of get burned out on running things. In addition to getting burned out, I think if I'm running a game that's every week, that sometimes adds to that burnout quicker. For instance, my Wars game right now, I run it every week for the most part. There's been a few exceptions. And while I enjoy the group and I enjoy the game, it's just that every week sort of slog sometimes gets to me. And I think it's also the work that I make myself do. Like, for instance, in my Wars campaign, I'm translating from one system to another, and they all have various sort of powers, like force powers or superpowers, that I need to translate every week, and that sometimes can be a bit of a chore. So I think I make myself too much work, too much prep work in some ways, and that adds to my burnout as well. And last, I have the ability to improv things to the point that players often have no idea that I'm doing it. They seem to think that I have everything planned out, that I'm this strange sort of mastermind or whatever, that I have all the possible outcomes figured out beforehand, and that's just not the case. I've ran entire sessions of nothing but improv, and players just thought I was lying. That there's no way that I had improv all that stuff. So that's really cool to hear when you're a GM that people didn't know that you were just making everything up on the fly. So if you want to do a video response or comment below, what do you think your strengths and weaknesses are when you run a game? All right, everyone. Thanks.